Hello, everybody. This is Art Aldridge, host of the podcast This Week in Production. I'm giving you an update on my experiences with my brand new M1 Mac Mini. I decided to put the M1 Mac Mini in the edit suite head-to-head against my 2019 Mac Pro. I wanted to do some workflow tests in my own workflow to see if there were any benefits over the Mac Pro and how that would relate to the benchmarks that I've been seeing posted on YouTube. So here's a few things that you should know about the comparison test. My 2019 Mac Pro is a 3.2 gigahertz 16-core machine. I spec'd it with 48 gigabytes of RAM, a Vega 2 32 gigabyte card, just one GPU, but I did get the Afterburner card. And it comes with the built-in 10 gigabit Ethernet ports ×2, and I'm using it with a pair of Apple XDR 6K displays. In this test, each machine's got one XDR display. The Mac Mini is a brand new M1 spec with the 16 gigabytes of RAM. In order to get a apples-to-apples comparison, as they say, I connected both devices to my small tree shared storage server that works on 10 gigabit Ethernet. In order to do that, I needed to put an OWC Ethernet adapter on the Mac Mini. That cost about $150. One thing to keep in mind when comparing these tests is that the Mac Pro is approximately 32% faster on the read speeds when connected to the NAS. The first test I did was using Zoom, and this is a workflow I do a lot now, where we record a Zoom meeting, I import the clips, I optimize them, and I run a Proxy media to share them. In this case, it was a 45-minute Zoom recording session. I also did a screen capture in ProRes at 1080p. So both those clips were imported, they were optimized, and they were converted to a Proxy at H.264 codec at 50% resolution. The Mac Pro took just under 20 minutes to do this test. The Mac Mini took just under 15 minutes to do this test, resulting in a 36% speed gain. After I do these edits, I typically export a movie to Frame.io with a timecode burn so that the client can review them. In this test, it's a 720p sequence, still 45 minutes in length, and the Mac Pro took just under 6.5 minutes. The Mac Mini took just about 6 minutes. It's a 6% gain, but keep in mind that there's a difference in the speeds that each machine is connecting to the NAS. Even though it's at a 32% read speed handicap, the actual results may be faster. Next, I imported a 20-minute XAVC clip from my Panasonic CX350 camera. The library was saved on the small tree shared storage for both systems, and I imported, optimized, and generated proxies in H.264 flavor at 50%. The Mac Pro took a little over 21 minutes, while the Mac Mini did the same task in just about 11 minutes, almost a 2x speed gain. I also wanted to see if there were any advantages to using my iPhone and the Mac Mini to do HDR capture and process. On the iPhone, I shot 4K footage at 24 frames per second. I imported 5 clips into both systems. The Mac Pro took just over 19 minutes, while the Mac Mini took just a hair over 10 minutes. Again, almost the same 2x speed gain on this test. So what do these tests mean? I don't know what they mean to you. They mean to me that there's great promise in this Apple Silicon and this new generation of hardware. The real head turner here is the cost basis. The Mac Pro, as I spec'd it, was just over $13,000, not counting the XDR displays. The Mac Mini with the Ethernet adapter and the extra RAM and storage worked out to be $1,500. That is a huge, huge price difference. I could put multiple Mac Minis in place and have significant speed gains. I will likely keep this Mac Mini, and use it as an ingest and export system. Maybe I'll get a couple more and test it in a compressor cluster render and see if I get any more gains there. The negative side to the Mac Mini is that there's no expansion in it. Right now, external expansion chassis don't work, though I don't think that'll be the way it is forever. And we know the Mac Pro is a proven entity. Now, what happens with the Mac Pro when it's reconfigured with Apple Silicon? I don't know. I don't know if my system is retrofitted and is able to be upgraded to Apple Silicon, or it's a whole new design, whole new chassis. I would be very surprised and a little upset if this Mac Pro wasn't designed with the forethought of moving it to an Apple Silicon basis with a simple processor swap. So I'm hopeful, though I have no clue if that's really what will happen. I'll be talking about this and many other topics on This Week in Production. New episodes every week, typically on Friday. Check us out on Apple Podcasts or anywhere else you get your podcast content. That's it for now. I'm Art Aldridge for This Week in Production.